Oh, can we talk about something more fun? Oh yeah, in the Karen Reed case, Colin Albert, who is off to the army. No, he's not off to the army. He's off to pre-army. He failed the either the physical or the intellectual test, so he is off to pre-army to see if they can raise his physical or make him better at thinking, or at least answering easy questions. So Colin Albert is too stupid for the army. They have to train him to reach the lowest limit to join the army. And folks, I respect army guys, but there are some guys in there, they're not bright. And they didn't need to go pre-army school.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Neither did I.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I mean, I knew people who failed the ASVAB, and I knew people who failed the physical, but like
generally they give up.
The only thing I can think of is that he's in a delayed entry program, which is basically like which is common. So it's where like you sign up, but like for my rate, they couldn't take me until like 3 months after I signed up. I signed up the end of July or the end of March, and I went to basic training July 27th. So that 3 months, you were basically learning PT, show up at your recruiter's office once a week, have a meeting.
Yeah, but Colin is actually away. So according to his attorney, at least, he's away, as Colin wrote in his affidavit, because there's an affidavit from Colin now. But I'm gone for work, he says. So not army, work.
I really hope the judge is not buying this BS.
No, he told Colin's attorney that discovery period ends in August. The deposition will happen before then. So unless his attorney can get an actual date, there will be a court order. Probably. But we're not there yet. And they still haven't produced, Colin has still not produced documents because they first claimed it was too much. Okay. So then the Karen Reed team, okay, let's narrow it down then to from the date of John O'Keefe's death and 4 months. No, that's too much. They only wanted that night. And they claim, well, Colin did a search himself for John O'Keefe, Karen Reed, and a third, which I don't remember. Yeah, but when you search for the entire name, you don't get the ones where you just say Karen and John. And searching for John O'Keefe specifically, that leaves out all the John hits. Searching for the entirety of Karen Reed leaves out Karen or Reed. Reed.
This is so weird.
So he's deliberately choosing search terms that he maybe knows he doesn't use. And nobody's buying it. Well, there are a few, but I consider them as, these are people who fondles Proctor's balls. Yeah.
I wanted to cover those text messages, but I'm like, I can't do this without like wanting to knock my computer off the table. So we're probably not going to cover those on my channel. Like I thought watching up 3 or 4 different people cover them, that like my anger would suppress enough for me to like calmly do it. No. No. Some people Or like, how do some people survive the world without repercussions and make it that far in life without getting called out on their BS?
Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. I haven't saved the Colin Albert affidavit. Let's see. Oh, there it is. I found it. Open picture. Open picture. Open picture. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Here it is. Polo Creep, blah, 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 da, da, da. Affidavit of Colin Albert. I, Colin Albert, on oath hereby depose and state as follows. One, I'm not a party to this lawsuit. No, but you are deliberately left out by your parents because they don't want you in. But you're a part of the other case. So, ta-da. Everything I say in this affidavit is based on my own personal knowledge. On the evening of January 28th, I went to my aunt and uncle's house at 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Massachusetts. I was there to celebrate my cousin Brian Albert Jr.'s birthday. I arrived at around 10 p.m. At around 11:55 p.m., I texted my cousin, Alan McCabe. Really? So your cousin with the McCabe, which is interesting because before trial, they barely knew each other. Yeah. So there.
In Allie's, there's like Life 360 data.
Yeah.
That shows that she wasn't where she said she was.
Yeah. Eventually, they got the Life 360, and that is in one of Karen Reed's motions, where they say Life 360 doesn't put her close to 34 Fairview at the time they claimed she picked Colin up. That's interesting. So now all of a sudden, but Life 360 is not reliable. Well, that's not what you said. That Alberts and McCabe said in court. Was it? Weird, isn't it? She texted back that she could, but had to drop off. Yeah. At around 12:10 a.m. on January 29th, Alan McCabe picked me up from 34 Fairview. And
doesn't she say 12:30?
I don't remember what she said. But I mean, everybody wants Colin out of the house at 12:10 before Karen and John showed up. So that's the time everybody agrees on from the house defendants. And so they made shit up. And now all of a sudden, Life 360 doesn't agree. And they don't have Colin's phone.
Shocker.
Shocker.
Life 360 coming in with the data. The GPS data don't lie.
Yeah. Ali dropped me off at home about 5 to 10 minutes after picking me up from 34 Fairview. I stayed home for the rest of the night. Here's the thing where things get complicated, because according to him, he told his dad he went up the stairs and told his dad good night. Problem is, for this timeline to be correct, his dad wasn't at home until sometime later. I don't recall exactly, but there's a discrepancy in the timeline there. I testified before a federal grand jury regarding the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe. I also testified at the first of 2 criminal trials against Karen Reed. Yeah. On April 21st, this year, I was served with a subpoena from Karen Reed. The subpoena told me to turn over certain documents by April 27th. and show up for a deposition on April 29th in this case. I was ready and willing to sit for that deposition April 29th. Yeah, but here's the thing. The subpoena told me to turn over certain documents by April 27th, and you didn't.
It's June 18th, Colin. Just FYI.
So then Colin throws his attorneys under the bus. However, my lawyers told me that Karen Reed's lawyers canceled the deposition and never rescheduled it, which is an outright lie. They didn't cancel the deposition, they postponed it. And there are emails between the parties who shows they never canceled.
Well,
they postponed it because in order to have a deposition, you need the documents first. And Colin's lawyer doesn't hand it over. That is why they postponed it until the documents was handed over.
Well, he's perfect for the army. He doesn't know the difference between postpone and cancel.
No, but this is what he claims his lawyer told him. And lawyers can't lie. Now, we can do a lot of things with the truth, but we can't outright lie. And this, according to Colin, is his lawyers lying to him. On May 19th, I let my lawyers know that I might have to leave the Massachusetts area for a long time because of work. On May 20th, I told my lawyers that it was confirmed that I needed to leave the Massachusetts area for work starting on June 2nd. I also told them that I would be away until at least September 2026 and would have very limited access to my phone or email during that time. On May 22nd, my lawyers told me that they accepted a subpoena from the plaintiffs in this case. Not the defendants. The plaintiffs, who are
the O'Keefes.
The O'Keefes. Yeah. Nothing to do with Karen Reed's, the defendants. The plaintiffs, who took their chance. May 22nd, they accepted a subpoena, which required me to show up for a deposition on May 28th. That's 6 days. The law requires a 7-day notice. This is your 6 days. And this is on a date both the plaintiffs and Colin's attorney knew Karen Reed's attorney was unavailable. Isn't that strange that the O'Keefes chose a date they knew the Karen Reed's attorneys couldn't show up on? Strange, isn't it? It's almost as if they collude. So these Jacobs out there saying, there was a deposition and they didn't show up. You shit fucks are mental.
That's some shady shit right there.
Yeah, this is shady shit.
Massachusetts, man, y'all got to get your house in order. I know Georgia's messed up. I know Wisconsin's messed up. I know Florida is a piece of work in itself. But whatever's going on in Massachusetts, like, figure y'all's shit out.
So on May 28th, went to Hinckley, Allen, and Snyder in Boston for a deposition, questioned in person by Attorney Diller. You know, the guy who has been caught over and over again with misrepresentations to the court. Who represent the plaintiffs, an attorney who the McCarthys, Waterfall Bar and Grill. Yeah, but those aren't Karen Reed. They are only interested in getting themselves out of this in any way. So they don't need much. The important part is the can read. So this is so shady, extremely shady, because the plaintiffs and Collins, they knew they haven't produced the records needed. And this was not a subpoena from the plaintiffs, not from any of the defendants, from the plaintiffs. This is what makes this so shady. As for the documents that Kennedy's subpoena asked for, shortly after I got that subpoena, my lawyer asked me to try to find certain communications that I might have. First, I checked whether I have ever had any communications on my phone with the people listed in the subpoena. Here is where words matter. I confirmed I have never had the phone numbers for Michael Proctor, John O'Keefe, or Yuri Buchanan on my phone. You don't need a phone number listed in your phone to have communications.
I have plenty of text messages with numbers that aren't saved. And I sometimes have to use context to figure out who they are because I forgot to save their damn numbers. Oh. Which makes me think that he didn't write this by himself.
No, he didn't write this. He has barely any part of the writing of this because he's too stupid to write like this. Next, for the people whose phone numbers I do have, I checked to see if I had any text conversation with them around January 28th, 2022, about John O'Keefe's death or the investigation into his death. To do this, I scroll back through each text thread I have with those people to January 28th, not 29th, when John O'Keefe actually died. And look through whatever conversation I had with them around that time. I also used the search feature in my iMessage app to search all of my text messages for certain keywords that would have turned up any conversation about John O'Keefe's death. Oh, the keywords I searched included Karen Reed, not Karen, not Reed, Karen Reed. John O'Keefe, not John. Or Michael Proctor, not just Proctor or Michael. Well, he did O'Keefe, but not John. Why just O'Keefe and not John? Why Proctor and not Michael? This is so disingenuous and easy to see through.
Like, just... Once again, you don't have to be a lawyer to know when shit just does not add up.
Yeah. This is so disingenuous. And it's actually...
I have never searched, when texting someone, I've never used someone's full name. It's first name, because I was military, last name, or nickname.
Yeah. And still, you have to take Colin's word for it. Because they haven't produced these documents, which is required. The subpoena says, now, okay, the judge said, 4 years is too much, 4 months is excessive, but they still have to produce it. We don't have to go by Colin Albert's words at all, because I don't trust him. Remember, Colin Albert is the person who said, to explain the scrapes on his knuckles, well, he slipped. And when he slipped, he braced himself with just his knuckles. Not this. This.
From a rehab perspective and a reflex and knowing anatomy and physiology, the only way that would be normal is if you have a neurological condition. Not extensively, I'm not going all out, but or you've had a stroke and your hand is just that position and you fall.
Because it's a reflex.
Just
reflexes this, not this. I mean, it's so stupid. So this is the guys, and he testified to that under oath in court. So excuse me for not taking his words for anything in an affidavit without the actual documents. After doing all of that, with one exception, I did not find, okay, which one? What's the exception? He doesn't write the exception. I did not find any communications with anyone listed in a subpoena about John O'Keefe's death or the investigation into his death. Yeah, but we now have to trust the words of a guy who is too stupid for
Should
the
have joined
army.
the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. The one exception was a text conversation I had on January 28th and 29th with my cousin, Ali McCabe. In those texts, I was talking with Ali about picking me up from 34 Fairview. The text showed that Ali picked me up from 34 Fairview at 12:10 a.m. on January 29th. These are that's the screenshot that was shown in court without any metadata. Because Judge Bev accepted an unverified screenshot as evidence. Do you know how easy it is to fake text messages? You go you Google how to fake text message iPhone text messages.
I mean, it was not even like I wouldn't know about like how to actually fake them for a screenshot, but what was happening earlier was my child has my my grandfather's phone after he passed away. My dad didn't know what to do with it, so I gave it to her. Well, she will sit on one phone and text me and sit on the other phone and text back and sit on one phone and like she was doing it earlier. She just goes back and forth. Like, you could make a text chain right there.
Okay, then I have gotten a new iPhone since January 29th, 2022, but every time I upgraded, I transferred all of my data from the old phone to the new one. I never saw Karen Reed, John O'Keefe, or Karen Reed's car at any point on January 28th or 29th. Subscribed and sworn to under the penalties of perjury, Colin Albert.
Wait, it doesn't have a date there.
No. Where's the date? They scribbled out June, but where's the date? So when was this affidavit signed? Because it looks here.
They wrote it in May and then.
Did he write this in May? But when asked to produce, they crossed out May and wrote June.
Or somebody else wrote it for him.
Yeah.
And by the time he actually signed it was June. So in his infinite wisdom, instead of just leaving it as May and making it appear as if he wrote it, this is all conjecture. I am not stating any of these as fact. However, if he's not the brightest crayon in the box and he scratches out May because by the time he gets a hold of this document, it's June.
Yeah. I mean, Colin Albert has the accuracy of a warped puck. I mean, there's nothing correct with him.
Bless his precious little heart.
Yeah. He testified in the first trial that he doesn't know how to fight. He's never been in fights. Sadly, the videos of him being in actual fights surfaced after the trial.
That's just me messing around with my friends.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I hate to do this, but I gotta get off of here.
Yeah, no worries. I'm winding up anyways. So yeah, folks. Maybe Colin and maybe those two deserve each other, Colin and Laura. I mean, he's an adult now.
Good thing I wasn't taking a drink at that particular time, because my monitor would be all sorts of. I'm sure JKD Buck would have got all over that screen grab and sent me a picture of me spewing water all over the screen.